At this time, we will have a youth charge presentation by Demar Lamont Roberts, Region 5 representative to the NAACP National Board of Directors from Memphis, Tennessee.
I greet you in the name of Moses Mountain, Markham Sojourner in Denmark. I greet you in the name of our ancestors whose bodies have carpeted the chilly waters from the Atlantic, from the coast of Africa to North America. I greet you on behalf of those who cried, "Before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave." In the name of those who on slave ships lay stacked one on top of the other, shackled with hardly no food to eat, no water to drink, no bathroom to use, diseases, heart and beaten and battered. In the name of those who work from sun up to sundown in the cotton fields of the South. In the name of those who were a part of the discriminations of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and even, yes, those who were a part of the discriminations of the 90s. Yes, we as young people come from a people from where tears have been watered. We are they who have come treading our path of the blood of the slaughtered. We come from those who chopped cotton, cropped tobacco, dug ditches through desert plain, and carved highways through mountain ranges. Oh, what a mighty God it is that we serve. It is that I greet you on this evening to offer our youth charge. I'm reminded of a story when I was much younger, about 7 or 8 years old, and every year we would go to church. And if you are a Baptist, you can relate to this story. But in the Baptist church, you have a church meeting every year. And I went to the church meeting with my grandmother when I was 7 and 8 years old, and she was always in the kitchen working. And she told me, she said, "Mom, let me know when they get on the agenda to old business." So I stood between the kitchen hall and the sanctuary waiting for them to say old business, old business. And so they went through the agenda of the meeting. They had the invocation, the pastor called the meeting to order, and then they went to new business. And then it got time for old business, and I went and I told my grandmother, I said, "Grandma, it's time for old business. It's time for old business." So at that point in the meeting, everybody got out of their cars. Everyone came out of the church, out of the kitchen, and everything stopped, and everybody came into the meeting when it got down to old business. So after the meeting was over, I asked my grandmother, I said, "Grandma, why is it that you wanted to know about old business?" She said, "Baby, because old business, when you have old business on the agenda, that means that something started that did not get finished." So I stopped by this afternoon to talk to a generation of folks who something has started, but it's our responsibility to finish it. See, because our race this evening is not getting the buses desegregated. Our race is not getting the schools integrated. Our race is not getting the first black student into an Ivy League institution. Our race is not getting the first black medical student or law school student into a previously all-white institution. That is not our race. Our race is to figure out how to say to young boys who think that the only way to identify themselves is by walking around with their pants sagging and hanging low below their waist. Our race is to say to our young girls to have enough dignity and pride about yourself. Have enough pride about yourself that if he can't call you by your first name, don't answer to any other name that he calls you by. See, our race is to figure out why we can take a credit card with a few digits and buy something halfway around the world and then figure out how to get it to us before the next business day. However, we seem to not be able to figure out how illegal drugs get into our communities that destroy the lives of young people and create havoc in our families. See, because our race is not to try and get the first black man into the White House because it's already been done. Our race is to try and figure out how to implement policies of change in our community so that we don't have to deal with houses being boarded up and people being foreclosed on and ran out to the streets. That is our race, youth in college. Our race is not to be fooled and to think that because the national and international media turned their attention on Haiti for the first 6 months to believe that all is finished there. See, because I stop by as I take my seat to let you know, young people, it is our race, Cameron, when our national budget has gone from surplus to deficit. It is our race, Brother Quentin, when the national economy has gone from rebust to bust, unemployment, recession, layoff, plant closing, restructuring, downsizing, outsourcing that now define our economy. See, my sister Stephanie, it's our race when 1/5 of all American children go to bed in poverty every night in the richest nation in the world. It is our race, Stephanie, when 1/2 of all African American children are growing up amidst broken sidewalks, broken families, broken cities, and broken dreams. It is our race, Paige, when 1/2 of all public housing built in this nation during the last decades were jails. See, it is our race when quality public schools are being exchanged for vouchers in charter schools. My brothers and sisters, it is our race when schoolyards are becoming social hunting grounds for prisons rather than recruiting grounds for colleges. It is our race when we spend billions of dollars on smart bombs but comparatively nothing to develop smart children. It is our race when we as a nation would rather develop missiles than develop minds. For we, Youth and College Division, we are national. 2,200 branches and youth councils and college chapters from the cotton field of the South to the high rises of the North. From the beaches of Miami to the benches of Central Park, New York. From Hollywood, California to Hollywood, Florida. From the deserts of the Midwest to the Great Lakes of Michigan. From sea to shining sea, from the campus of Yale, Harvard, Princeton, Howard, South Carolina State University, we are the national NAACP. And if you ever get a bit of doubt in this race, let me remind you that we come from a people that sing like a Miriam Anderson, Aretha Franklin, and Fantasia, that dance like a James Brown and Chris Brown, and Michael Jackson and Usher, that run like a Jesse Owens and Carl Lewis, that make folks laugh like a Richard Pryor and a Martin Lawrence, that write like a James Baldwin, Maya Angelou, and a Michael Eric Dyson, that play the piano like a Ray Charles and a Alicia Keys, that rank like a Spike Lee and a Tyler Perry, shoot like a Wilt Chamberlain and an Alvin Iverson, hit like a Hank Aaron and a Barry Bonds, box like a Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali and a Evander Holyfield, act like a Sidney Poitier and a Denzel Washington, think like a W.E.B. Du Bois and a Cornel West and a Jeff Johnson, lead like a Malcolm X, a Martin Luther King and a Barack Obama, but most importantly serve like a man named Jesus. So if you ever in doubt in this race, remember that this is our race to fight. This is our race in this generation. So let's take our place and let's get this old business that has been started before us done. This is our time and this is our season. That is your youth charge.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been charged.
Holy, what in the...
Yes.
Wow. Thank you 2 times, Demar, for those amazing words of inspiration. Please give him a round of applause again. Yeah, I don't... Yeah.